So my name is Zeenat, and I'm so delighted to be with you this morning to practice mindfulness, have some connection, and thanks, Joshua. It's not mine. I don't drink coffee. I think I should start using a different background because it gives an impression that's not exactly accurate. Um, it is in my kitchen, but not mine. So from a non-coffee drinker to have that is a little bit misleading. So how's everyone doing today? So what I'd like to do this morning is have a short opening practice. I think it's so useful to just get us into the space, land into the space. Then I'll offer, we'll connect as a community. I'll offer a little bit longer guided meditation and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, so here comes a bell. Coming into an upright posture that's comfortable for you. So I like shoulders down, head and neck very relaxed. Eyes can be open or closed. And the intention, the invitation this morning is to soften, just soften, 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 soften. Any rough edges, any challenging mental or emotional state. Just creating a landing place, a place to ground and arrive. So no matter what is going on out there, and clearly a lot, if you're in New England, is happening out there right now, this practice of awareness with an attitude of friendliness or loving awareness allows us the possibility, the potential to keep orienting to steadiness, no matter what is going on out there. So hell could be breaking loose. And this doesn't mean that we are not affected or we pretend that it's sunny when it's not. Absolutely not. No. It means, and I want to offer you this phrase that hopefully you can take with you. It's been really helpful to me in my practice. In the midst of a storm, is it possible to orient to steadiness, to anchors of safety, of peacefulness, of loving awareness, of this too, this too? And can I meet that? Can I meet those storms? So in the midst of, and the way to practice is just sensing in, how is it internally? What's the inner weather like? Again, we're not trying to change, control, or fix, but just meet whatever is here with curiosity. Here comes the bell. And taking your time as you open the eyes, please feel free to stretch or move the body in any way that would be supportive. And so if you came in during the meditation, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Zeenat Potia, and I have the pleasure of guiding you this morning. So I wanted to offer working with the elements today in our practice. And so the elements practice is very rich. If you're in New England, you just have to look outside the window or clue in with your ears. There's a lot happening. There's turbulence. There's the water element with the rain. We have the wind element that's quite strong. I could hear howling winds throughout the night. The air, or otherwise known as the air element. There's the fire element, which has to do with temperature. So it's cool. It's cool, that's the fire element, even though it seems counterintuitive. It's called the fire element. We have the space element that holds it all, and then the earth element. And so the instructions are to practice awareness of the elements internally and externally. So I'll guide you through an elements meditation. But before we do that, I just wanted us to connect as a community with mindful speaking and listening. And so just tuning in to your awareness and sensing which element resonates for you this morning. And one sentence or one word to describe your connection with this element. What is drawing you in, or what is rising in your awareness as an element calling for your attention? And please share in the chat. Okay, fire. Yeah. Water. Fire. Turbulent wind. Turbulent wind. Yeah. And the air, movement and change, absolutely. So the air element, all of them, but the air in particular, has a lot of movement. You can see, we don't see the air element, right? But that doesn't mean it's there. It's making its presence known this morning. And so you see it in the way the trees are being pushed around, buffeted. The sound of air, yeah. The earth, the mountains, beautiful. Chilly and breezy, yep. It's another way of contacting these elements. They're incredibly powerful tools in our mindfulness practice because they are ways of connecting more deeply in the present moment. And they're ways of sensing into how we are not separate from, you may have heard this phrase from Thich Nhat Hanh, we're not in nature, we are nature. We are nature, and there's something eternal and timeless about these elements. We're experiencing a stormy day here today. And for centuries, people have experienced stormy days. So there's a way of feeling part of rather than apart or separate. And to not take it so personally. There's such a useful teacher in that a storm is not happening to us. It's just happening. It's happening. And whoever goes out in it is affected by it. So it's not, why this to me? This phrase that sometimes when we experience challenging mental or emotional states, we turn it into why is this happening to me, why me. But the sadness or the anxiety or the fear that we feel is just energy. It's energy. Yes, yes, beautiful. So the earth element, and that's a wonderful way to segue into practice. It's gravity. It allows us to ground in the midst of turbulence. It can be a steadying factor. Now, if you have too much earth element, anybody feel like when you're sinking, when you feel depressed, that sinking feeling, and then we need to balance it. We need to balance it with some vitality, with some fiery element. This okay, I need to care for myself so that I can find some uplift so I'm not sinking because it's too much earth element. So we can learn to balance these elements. Too much of one, and then the body gets into dis-ease. The mind and heart get into dis-ease. In Tibetan teachings, they talk of the wind element. When the wind element is off kilter is when people fall ill, because there's something about the balancing of the wind element. So let's practice together a little bit with this elements meditation. So I'm going to invite the bell. And once again, getting comfortable and upright. And if you've never done elements practice, then you're in for a treat. Bring an open mind to it. It's quite a rich area of exploration. So coming into steadiness, stillness, quiet, upright, comfortable posture. Just take a moment or two to sense inward. And we begin with the top of the head. So just sensing the earth element in the skull, the boniness of the skull. See if you can feel into the head. Heavy, solid. Firm as we travel down the body toward the shoulders, the spinal column, sensing the earth element internally. And you can feel it, you might be able to feel it as the arm bones hang down. The rib cage, hip bones, the femur, the big bones of the legs. The earth element is heavy, firm, solid. See if you can sense the earth element internally. Then when you get towards the bottoms of the feet, wherever they're resting, really releasing and opening to the solidity of the earth element externally. Not separate. The earth is absorbent. It's firm, it bears witness, and it's a mutually reciprocal relationship. So we can, in this moment, and it's not theoretical, I want you to practice experientially. See if there's any clenching or tightness in the body. Is it possible to softly release downward to the earth, trusting that there is support, that we're being held? No gravity, it's real by the earth. It holds us. We don't have to earn it. We don't have to prove ourselves worthy. It's available to everybody. And when I say the earth absorbs, it can absorb whatever we want to release. It absorbs lightning bolts. So what's a little anxiety? Trusting your own heaviness. These are lines from a Rilke poem. Trusting your own heaviness. It's almost as if you're anchoring with that heaviness in the present moment, here, now, here, now. And then opening from the bottoms of the feet as we travel upward again to the water element internally, the liquidity in the body. We're over 70% water, the human body, and there's other fluids, blood, bile, phlegm, acid. The water element is cohesive. It holds things together. It's cohesive, it's unifying. It's also soft and squishy. See if you can sense into the softness, the squishiness in the belly. It's mostly watery. And the water element has a flow and also movement. It can be cooling, healing, purifying. It's also very powerful. Sometimes it can be in a frozen state. So there might be parts internally that are feeling stuck or frozen. Can we surround them with the softness of the water element to start to thaw a little bit? And then tune into the water element externally, the sound of the rain. Sound of the rain. Then we have the fire element that's keeping us here. It's the warmth of community. It's the ardor of wanting to practice, of wanting to do this. This matters. This matters. It's any temperature internally, places of warmth or coolness. How is the water element showing up outside, externally? The fire element. Freedom is described as a cooling of the fires of craving and agitation. So notice if there are small fires, big fires. Our practice is not to feed them, to fuel those conflagrations, but instead to cool those fires. By bringing mindfulness to those energies, we'll naturally cool those fires. The air element. I invite you to bring awareness to the breath, just the air element internally. Just notice the breath at the nostrils. It's fizzy, oscillates, has a vibratory quality. the wind element externally. It's not separate from the air that we're breathing. We don't own the air. And notice, just as we're supported by the earth, held in place, we are also supported by the air element in space. And that brings us to the space element, which is its material quality is that it's empty. It's empty. It's open. It's vast. Internally, just a little bit of spaciousness. And then all of it, all of this being held within the space element externally. So just a moment or two to recognize your elemental nature, not separate from the elements. What Thich Nhat Hanh called interbeing. This helps loosen the grip on the ego or the separate self. When we can practice in this way, there can be more harmony, more peacefulness, more connectedness toward ourselves, towards others, towards all sentient beings, animals, plants, minerals, and towards these elements, these energies. Thank you for your practice. Taking your time as you open the eyes and come back. If anybody has any comments or questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to pull up a couple of slides. So there's the recorded talks from Dr. Judd Brewer that are available at that website. Highly recommend. I'm a huge fan of his work, and he's just a wonderful teacher and researcher, author. And then Kel Juilliard is offering these now 3 sessions. We had the first one last night, which are extremely worthwhile, about how to operationalize what Dr. Brewer is offering in the hunger habit. So all of these talks are also recorded. So if you missed last night, you can catch up and then join the remaining 3 sessions. Okay, Susan, take care with the power outages. I hope that folks can be safe. And wishing you well, wishing you well. I think the element practice is also vital in teaching us again that bring mindfulness to internally. And how can I live my life with integrity, with clarity, So good. I'm glad. Glad you enjoyed. Yes. Yes. And this fire element, this, one can even call it a commitment to mindfulness is the fire element in many ways. And then, of course, I hope that we see the fire element in the form of the sun before too long, because this is slightly unusual weather for April, but we'll just go with it in the midst of, right? Yeah, I'm glad, Julia. That's great. And just to be aware that it calls our attention, the wind. I was hearing it all night long. I'm a very light sleeper, and it was a presence. All right. Thank you all so much. Be well and look forward to next time. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you, Sheila. Bye.